Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and today we got some unexpected news of a new business partner with EHG. It was confirmed by Judd in a post, which is linked in the description below, that EHG is now partnered up with Tencent, who has purchased less than 25%. We're not sure the exact value, but it was confirmed that it is less than 25% of the total equity of EHG, or Last Epoch. And with this, they have funded and given resources and capital to EHG so they can grow their team and basically finance to make sure they can do everything that they need to do to get to 1.0 and beyond. So what can we look forward to? What does this mean? Well, first off, I will mention that this doesn't mean any changes for EHG. A lot of people are worried that this was a buyout or that suddenly a Chinese company, Tencent, was going to have control over the game or change the direction it's going. They have zero influence. At least that's what we're being told, and this was mentioned a couple of times in the original post, as well as many times in the comments below to reassure people that they will have zero influence over the game. But let's go ahead and start with the backstory, what led up to this moment, what led up to being partnered with Tencent, and what this means for the future of Last Epoch. So let's go ahead and get started. As many of you know, 11th Hour Games comes from very humble beginnings. Last Epoch originated from a simple Reddit post asking other ARPG enthusiasts who wants to join up and make the next great ARPG. It started as a true after-hours passion project that most of us worked on in the evenings for nearly a year while holding other jobs to pay the bills. Our late-night development is part of the reason that the name 11th Hour. Since then, we've grown rapidly as we and our community continue to share enthusiasm for this game and genre, and it's a true story and it's been talked about several times, even as far back as the interview that I've done with Judd a couple of years ago, that this was a game that they worked on in their spare time on evenings and weekends, and it was just some friends that got together through Reddit posts where they found each other and just wanted to make a great ARPG. They put in over a year of their time before they were able to get it kick-started. It became clear that as we gained traction and set our sights on a more ambitious game, that our growth would require more talent, hardware, software, and ultimately more funds. Due to this, Judd has spent 653 days exactly approaching and fielding publishers, angel investors, venture capital firms, and banks seeking more funds to ensure the stability and growth of 11th Hour Games and Last Epoch. During that time, they have received multiple verbal and written offers, but many of them came with a requested level of control, stipulations, insertion into operations, requirements, or involvement that he suspected may not be in the best interest of the game or company. He has meticulously crafted a team of ARPG fanatics that know and want the best for Last Epoch and the community. This team is something that he's always protected at all costs, so giving up nearly any level of control was something he was unwilling to entertain, which, as you can imagine, is hard for a lot of investors, and most investors that are going to invest in a product want to have control over it and do as they see fit or what they think will be most profitable, meaning that they could, if they were to gain control of Last Epoch, they could turn it into a pay-to-win or do something to it to make sure that they got a lot of money really quick to pay off all of their initial investments and to make profit afterwards. And that is something Judd wanted to stay away. And as we know, this has been promised to be a non-pay-to-win game. So securing investments in which companies would have zero stake in choosing what happens to the game allows EHG currently to continue with the way that they're going with it in the direction that they want and making it the game they want without any outside influence. And that's what they have here. They got funds with no outside influence. And hopefully, 100% true to their word, that's what continues to happen and nothing else happens down the road. So luckily, after nearly 18 months, he began talks with the team from Tencent Games, who were already fans of Last Epoch and had followed them for quite some time. They had witnessed our ability to produce and release content for nearly 4 years in early access, grow a team, and grow an enthusiastic player base. Their team played the game through roughly and came into the conversation with a level of enthusiasm and trust in us that we were looking for, due to their passion for Last Epoch, but most importantly, because of their willingness to continue to let EHG design, create, operate, and grow how they see fit and not how Tencent sees fit. They have accepted a low equity investment from Tencent's games. And again, this low equity we know is below 25% stake in the game itself, but we don't know the exact number it is. We just know it's less than 25%. Now, what this investment means for EHG, Last Epoch, and the community in general is guaranteeing the stability of our development pipeline through the full release of 1.0, allowing funds for required hardware like more testing machines, server infrastructure to support multiplayer, allowing the hiring and contracting of industry experts and consultants for most challenging aspects of development and live operations, allowing them to expand the team. They are still hiring. If you're interested in working for them, definitely click on that link. Again, the link to this link is in the description below. And allowing us marketing capital for the 1.0 release of the game. This means more players to share Edera with, which means there will be marketing for it down the road before the release. They'll be able to run ads or do whatever they do or wherever they want to spend the money to make sure that more people are exposed to knowing that Last Epoch is out there and going to be released, and then ensuring the stability and growth as a studio for years to come. Honestly, we are thrilled to have found and executed this opportunity. Now I want to clear the air of some concerns that this news may bring to our long-term community, and there were a lot of concerns in the comments below that went in all sorts of directions, from complaining that it's just Tencent to being Chinese, all that you can read on your own. We're not going to dig too much into that, we're just going to read through this first. He has personally been on the player side of this coin, where you see one of your most cherished independent game studios partner with a larger company and worry that the independent company and games they produce may be altered for the worse. And so again, this is reconfirming that Tencent will have zero influence on the game and that EHG is going to continue in the direction that they have been. Nothing is changing other than they got funds. I want to assure you that the reason that he held out so long to find the right investment and investment partner is because he believes it is the utmost importance that we maintain our ability to operate and execute under our own discretion. This partnership comes with no obligation to change any plans regarding our development of Last Epoch and no binding development agreements to execute on, meaning that Tencent can't come and say you got to release the game tomorrow and throw it out there. It's not going to happen. As a studio, we've retained full creative control and autonomy, and this only bolsters our ability to execute on our vision better. Thanks to Kickstarter and players like you who have purchased the game, continue to advocate for us during early access, we were able to hold out for the right investment that allows us to fully preserve our vision for Last Epoch. And so again, he wants to express his gratitude to all travelers that have believed in us while we were in the early stages of development. So what does this ultimately mean? 11th Hour Games is healthy, healthier than ever, growing more rapidly, and excited as hell to put these funds to work in creating an amazing action RPG for all of us to enjoy. Thanks again for your continued support from the entire team here at 11th Hour Games. And then there were many questions asked below in the comments, one of them being, will this mean that we get more content for the game? And the answer to that was, we can expect to have more higher quality content put into the game by 1.0 and especially after. Now, while these funds may not mean that the next patch is going to be 1.0 release, and it's not going to probably speed up the timeline too much, it is expected that we're going to get higher quality and that we should expect, especially after 1.0, to get more content at a higher quality. For me personally, I am excited to see that they now have the funding to ensure that they can get to 1.0 and beyond, and that they can do it with a larger team and have a higher quality game. Been looking forward to this being a AAA game, and so far it looks like it's definitely going to nail that. And now seeing that they have the money to expand on all of the features they currently have and want to implement, I think the game's just going to get that much better. And like they said, as long as they stay true to Tencent having zero influence in the game, I believe that it's not only going to come out better than it would have, but it's definitely going to come out and in the direction that EHG intended. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below, and as always, stay safe, travelers.